Hey guys, we'll try to solve a question today, which is a very basic question. And the question is that given a string str, the task is to print the frequency of each character of str. For example, if we see we have A, B, C, 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 D, 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 we'll have A2, B1, C4, D3. So that's what our task is, and we'll try to see how can we achieve this. So let's use the whiteboard and try to understand what do we have. So for example, if we have A, B, 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 C, C, D, uh, the basic first approach to solve this question is assuming that it's everything is in lowercase character, uh, is to create an array, and the array will be of 26 as the length, because considering the all the alphabets from A to Z are 26. And so we'll have an array which is of index 0, 1, 2, and it goes on and it goes till 25, right? uh, so the approach to solve this question is basically uh, to get a Unicode of um, small a, and then very simple logic is when you do a minus a, it gives you 0. When you do b minus a, it gives you 1, and so on. So the basic approach is that when you iterate through this string character by character, you grab the first character, subtract it with a, you get the index, which is 0. So correspondingly 0 represent index of a, right? So you put 1 in it. When you go to the next one, whatever you have, you just do add of 1 in it, so it becomes 2. Similarly, when you go to b, it's b minus a1, so this is the index of b, and you make b as 3, then c as 2, and then d as 1, and it goes on and on, right? So you have an array which is created, which represent the count of a, b, c, d, and all these characters that you have in a string. And now the only thing that you have to do is that you have to print the character and the count, right? So what you have to do is you have to convert this 0 into a, and then append the count that you have, which is 2, and then do the same thing with this, which is 1, and then append the count, which is 3. So this will be b3, and then c2, and so on. So this is the logic that we have to we'll try to focus on. And finally we will have this output. The space complexity of this will be O of n, and the time complexity of this also will be O of n. Reason being that we have created extra space, or I would say not O of n, but actually O of 26. So because we'll be creating 26 array size, and that should be it. So let's try to code this in our notepad. So the way we will do it is, where is my this? Okay, yes. So let's write public static void main as the program main function, and then let's put something which is public static. Let's put void as of now and say frequency count, frequency counter, and say string s, right? So first thing first, we'll create counter array, which is new int, and give it a 26 size. So this creates an array. Now what we have to do is we have to iterate through this string. So what we'll do is we'll use we can use a for loop, which is for char c colon str dot to, or maybe here s dot to char array. And what we'll do is we'll try to find the, so what we have to do is we have to find a value which is int value, and this value will be this minus a, right? So this will be the value. So initially the value of a minus a would be 0, right? And what we do is in the counter of value we'll do plus plus. So counter of 0 plus plus. So counter of 0 plus plus, counter of, so let's not put it here, let's do this, and we'll do like this, right? So now what will happen is we'll have an array where it will append based on the index. So initially this will be 0, so value of counter of 0 will be incremented, and then again counter of 0 will be incremented, then counter of 1 will be incremented, and so on will happen, right? So now the array is created. Now what we have to do is we have to go through this array and we have to print the final output, right? So the next thing that we have to do is to basically find out how can we retrieve the, how can we make a value, or how can we print a value which is a based on the index, right? So if it's 0, we need to have an a. So the very basic way of doing that is we'll do something like this. We'll have for loop for int I equals to 0, I is less than counter dot length I plus plus, and we'll do system dot out dot print, because it has to be on the same line. And a very basic way to do this is you have to do a typecasting and do something like this. Okay. And then we have to add this, and then we have to add counter of I. Okay. So this will basically say 0 plus a, which will give you a, 1 plus a will give you b, okay, 2 plus a will give you c, something like that will happen. Now I think we have to just put this in a bracket so that this whole thing is equated, and then we'll have counter of I, which is abc. So let's try to see if this thing is working. So we'll put int, we'll put string str, which is the same string, and we'll call this function, and we'll put this. Okay, so let's see if this thing works or not. Okay, I see it's not working and it is giving some weird stuff. So it is giving you some weird number. Okay, so we need to see why this is happening. Okay, let me see first of all what is coming as this. Okay, let's see what we are getting in okay, so I think the problem is here. If I say 0 plus a, I need to see what comes out of this. Oh, what is this? Okay, 1 minute. And let's do typecast for it. Oh, sorry, it has to be this. Not exactly. Okay, yep. Yeah, so a is coming, but then again, yeah, because it's a loop, so it is printing these many times. That makes sense. So it will be this, and then we can do counter of I. Okay, so it has to be I of a. Okay, that's where it's creating a problem, because it is somehow okay. Yes, so we get it, but then is the 0 is getting printed. So what we have to do is we have to say if counter of I is not equals to 0, then we do this. Yep, there you go. So finally, this is how we will solve this problem. The space and time complexity for this. So space, I think it's just 26 characters. So O of big O of 26 is nothing. So space complexity and time complexity is O of n, right? Because we are going through each and every character and then trying to process it and then put it into that array. So I think space complexity we can say O of 26 or maybe O of 1 just to go through it. We can say O of 1. Then time complexity is O of n, which is pretty good in this case. There is another way of doing this using hash map, and we'll discuss it in the next lecture. Thank you.